Selling your business is probably one of the biggest decisions you make in your life. It's a mixture of issues, financial, very often emotional, if it's a family business or one that you've started with other people. And so you need the sort of advice that you can rely on and which takes you step by step through the process. We form a partnership with our clients and we make sure that they're very comfortable the whole way through. It's the first time they will have ever done anything like this, more often than not. And we have done it many, many times, know what the pitfalls are, and are well aware what a client is likely to need. And if you choose to work with KLV, you would be getting us, two very seasoned practitioners who have done this both as principals in the case of John and advisors in my case for many, many clients over the years.
I think a very important point as well is when you go to the KLV website, there seems to be what's a catchphrase, which is, beyond the deal. But that actually has great significance to us, because beyond the deal for us means that while value is very, very important to a business, we understand a lot of founder directors, there are issues such as the culture of the company, the legacy of that company going forward. I often tell people sometimes the second best bid in terms of value can be the best bid to take, because it actually fits with the objectives that are set out to us at the start of the process in terms of preserving that culture of the business, retaining staff, how those staff are compensated, and also how the legacy of that business is going to be retained going forward, and the autonomy they'll have with one acquirer versus another acquirer. So at KLV, because we have that mix of deal-making capability and also the operational background that we bring to all these businesses, we can actually advise on how the acquirers are going to really support the business and partner with the business going forward. And they're really, really important elements in actually getting the right bidder and getting the right transaction for our clients.
It really starts with sitting down with the client, understanding what they want, because after all, it's their business, and then understanding the business in depth, because that's a key aspect of the advice that we give to clients. And what we do is get together as much information as we possibly can on the business, and we put together what's known as an information memorandum. And the information memorandum describes the business in detail, the background to the business, the reasons that the owners are considering selling it, obviously the financial information, the prospects of the business, basically everything about the business that a potential buyer might want to know. And at the same time, we come up with a list of potential acquirers. Those people then sign a non-disclosure agreement if they're interested in seeing the document, the information memorandum. And there is a timetable which basically sets out what we expect from potential buyers in terms of their response, how they're going to finance the transaction, the due diligence process that they want to go through, et cetera, et cetera.
If you come to us and say, look, you're considering selling your business, we might tell you to hold on, because there's also that issue of market conditions. It's a sector that you're operating in, a sector that's frothy right now, with a strong demand from investors. Again, we can tell you, well, the time is absolutely right, because it's always a combination of the evolution of your business, the gestation of your business, where you are at that point in time in terms of the growth of revenue. And again, we won't, it's not set in stone. So where is the business, where is the journey for that business? Where are you traveling to? Are you at that kind of curve in the hockey stick? Because that's a great time for investors to actually kind of focus on your business, and also look at valuations on future annual recurring revenues, for example. But that has to be married and coupled with market conditions at any point in time. So we'll give you an honest appraisal. It's informal. It doesn't cost you anything to do that.
When I earlier on referred to it being a partnership, that's exactly what it is. We don't just set the ball rolling and hope it works. We act as ringmaster, and we make absolutely sure the client is comfortable throughout. And if the transaction doesn't make sense at any point, we will have no hesitation in telling the client to cease the process. We basically hold the client's hand all the way through to completion. And what that involves is managing the due diligence process that the buyer conducts. It means working with the lawyers, acting for our client. We work very closely with them, and keeping the client closely involved in the process throughout.